Let's move now to the Diamond, where there's a lot going on with the Mets and Yankees. And first off, on Monday, the Mets introduced Jared Porter as the 14th general manager in team history. Porter spent 8 years in the Red Sox organization starting in 2004. He spent 2 years with the Cubs, and for the past 4 seasons, he's been the assistant general manager for the Diamondbacks. Of course, all that time with the Red Sox and Cubs, he overlapped a lot with Theo Epstein, the man who is now, of course, famous for breaking some of baseball's biggest curses. So, Andrew, Dylan, your thoughts? I know all three of us are big Met fans. Well, Dylan, you're like half a Met fan because I don't understand how you're also a Yankee fan. It's the weirdest thing. But, Andrew, you and me are real Met fans. What do you think about the Jared Porter move?
Hey, buddy. All right.
Look, I'm telling you right now, you cannot be a Met and a Yankee fan at the same time. It is physically impossible.
What, am I going to betray half my family? Is that what you're asking me to do?
Yeah, you got to pick a side. It's baseball. Mets and Yankees baseball is a war. You got to pick your side. All right.
Well, I have to, what am I, the queen? I have to betray half my family?
It's not betrayal. You're choosing your sides. I mean, I have family members that are Yankee fans. I don't root for the Yankees. I hate the Yankees.
Hey, look, buddy, you're on thin ice. I'll cut you off at any time. I'm the Yankee.
I mean, look, it's a Saturday. It's a nice day out. I mean, you want to cut me off? All right, I'll go sit outside.
I'm gonna give my opinion first because I'm as much a Mets fan as anybody else.
Okay, go ahead.
I can't believe you had the audacity to bring that up.
I'll say it again. You're not. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I like Jared Porter a lot. I did not know much about him before the Mets hired him, but from everything I heard a lot of people say that he speaks many languages of baseball, which is a really and things along those lines, which is a really enticing thing to hear, because obviously that means he can communicate with a bunch of different people, and that's exactly what you want in a general manager. Because in the front office field, in that universe, they are the face of the team, so that's incredible. And also, Theo Epstein, any baseball fan who I think knows their stuff is a fan of his, but also Red Sox and then the Cubs. That's a really good track record, man. And obviously I trust Sandy Alderson, and I know Steve Cohen is staying out of it, as he's promised to do. So I like this hire a lot.
I mean, I agree, but the first thing I have to say, I mean, Dylan, it would be much worse if you were like a half Phillies fan or half Nationals fan. Like, I mean, to me, yeah, I think the rivalry with the Yankees, I think everyone, just because crosstown rivals, obviously, but I hate the Phillies and the Nationals much worse than I hate the Yankees. And that's
look, I'm going to say this real quick. This town, New York, is a baseball town going back all the way to the turn of the century. Each borough has its team. There's no Giant fans and Yankee fans. There's no Dodger. My grandfather, if he is one of the, well, obviously he was a diehard Dodgers fan. He's a diehard Met fan. There's no sharing. We're losing track here. Andrew, give me your take on Porter.
I love Jared Porter, as I think a lot of people do. I just love how he's just, I mean, he's a baseball mind, and it's honestly just a breath of fresh air to not have a agent run your franchise. So that's kind of, I think, the biggest thing, which, again, I feel like, again, nothing completely against Freddie Van Wagen. He's a good agent, but just didn't work out as a GM. And he's a baseball guy, baseball lifer, a World Series champion, which is just a nice breath of fresh air. And it's nice to see what Sandy Alderson can do when he's not strapped and with one hand tied behind his back. And again, hopefully this is now the Mets can get now Porter mentored, and everything could kind of seamlessly go into place, and it could be now starting to be a nice run franchise.
Yeah, I would just say, well, first off, I think this is a great hire. My biggest thing, obviously, that excites me as a Met fan is the connection with Theo Epstein. Now, obviously, we know in the past, just because you work for somebody doesn't mean that you are that person. Case in point, all the assistant coaches that work for Sean McVay, they got head coaching jobs that are not, amazing. So I'll just say this when it comes to the Jared Porter. There's an interesting thing going on here with the Mets, where in that it seems to me, and I think Sandy has kind of said this publicly, is like there's a transition going on. Sandy was kind of brought in to kind of, not so much that Steve didn't want him, but it appeases the owners. When there was the whole process going of approval of ownership, it's Steve was signifying, hey, I want to run this organization properly. I'm going to bring in a baseball lifer who's going to help me do that. And Sandy has even said it. I heard in an interview earlier this week that when he was initially hired, he did not think he'd be taking as big a part in the baseball operations. And I guess just because of the time the sale was finalized and free agency, that he ended up taking more of a big role. So it seems to me that now that they got Jared Porter, it's going to be a slow transition from Sandy. Sandy's, he's later stages of his life. He's obviously battled cancer, and great on him. He's healthy now, and that's all wonderful. But it seems to me that he's going to slowly transition. I think he's grooming Jared, and I think Jared's already got the resume. And now it's Sandy there, who has so much experience. I think the Mets are really setting up a long-term success plan, which I think is really important for a franchise that has struggled to maintain success. I don't want, we were talking about this in the break a little bit. I am sick and tired of a Mets fan of okay, we made the World Series this year, or we made the playoffs, we made all the way to the NLCS. Okay, we're good for 15 years. We don't have to make the playoffs again. That's not what teams should do. We need to be a consistent winner. I want to be the Dodgers of the East Coast. I don't want to have as many heartbreaking losses, but so I like this move a lot.
Yeah, I think to what you were just saying is, what I didn't realize until it happened, when in 2016, when the Mets went to the wild card game, that was the first time in franchise history that they had back-to-back playoff appearances. That's crazy.
Second time.
Second time?
They did it in 99 and 2000.
2000.
That's right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That checks out.
Yeah. They lost the NLCS to the Braves, and they lost the World Series to the Yankees.
Yeah. Okay. So oh, you just completely threw me off my train of thought.
All right. Well, hey, look, this is what happens when you're not a real Met. This is what happens when you're not a real Met fan. You don't know the history of the team.
You have thrown this segment completely off the rails. To those listening and to those watching on 90.7 FM, FUV.org, FUVsports.org, Facebook, YouTube, I apologize for his behavior, okay? I will talk to him in the break. But anyways, of course Sandy had a little more of a say in this than he usually would. It's the natural progression of how things were going to happen. But I think Sandy knows and Steve Cohen knows that when the time comes, Jared Porter's going to have the final say on things, and him only. So that is going to that's something Mets fans, I guess, aren't really used to. We're used to there being tension between the ownership and the front office. We saw with Brody Van Wagenen.
Sandy's a perfect example. I mean, he even talked about it after he got fired, that he was, or whatever, let go, whatever happened there in that situation. But it was ownership was saying one thing. He said, you only could spend this much. I mean, everyone goes back to the tweet where it was like, he said he only can drive downhill because the Wilpons don't pay for a certain amount of miles. So, I mean, these are the type of situations. And it's not having that. And I think Sandy, I think he's a great baseball mind. And if you give him the money, and now with Porter, I feel like it's going the right direction, which is great to hear.
Yeah, I mean, the one last thing that I would say also is that, I love that Jared is lock and step with Steve Cohen with the winning mentality. And actually in his press conference this week, one of the reporters asked him, they said, because remember that there was that statement that came out which Steve said, if I don't win a championship in 3 to 5 years, it's a disappointment. And some people were saying, Andy Martino, which I don't want to get into him, but he was saying, reporting, hey, this is driving off people from wanting the job. And Steve rightfully replied, if they don't want the job because of that mandate, we don't want them here. So Porter, when he was asked about that, and I'll read the quote for you guys real quick, he said, quote, "It really does excite me. It shows a strong commitment from ownership who wants to win, who wants to put a winner on the field of the fan base, for the fan base of New York, and I'm completely aligned with that. It excites me. I want those expectations." And that is exactly, in my opinion, what you want to hear from a general manager. He wants to win, and there's only more you can ask.